And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Soul Sister Sunday with Lady D, Asria, Kate, and Peyton. Hello, everybody. We're early on this Sunday because we're collaborating with our soul sisters across the pond. This is a true intercontinental love affair with us, this full family. We have the UK and the US soul sisters. So it's 9 p.m. in the UK, so we're only going to go on for 2 hours. We can't keep Azria and Peyton. We can't keep them up too late because they turn into magical fairies after midnight, not pumpkins.
Love that.
We're going to wait for some people to come in the chat. However, this is episode 2. We did about a month ago. We did our first episode of spiritual attacks and demonic attachment. Demonic attachments. And we decided that this is such an important topic and something that we need to do on a monthly basis because we are in the height. We're at the crux, we're at the climax of a huge spiritual war. We know that there's a physical war going on between light and dark. It's not about politics, folks. It's light and dark, good against evil in every country. And right now, we are being attacked left and right because we are light workers. We are light beings. We are on Team God, Team Light, however you identify God. Okay. So we are source creators. We are on the front lines. And because all the big demonic principalities, those that are written in all the spiritual books, the Bible, they have been obliterated from the earth. God has taken charge. Now we have these low-level loser demons and witches and warlocks that are coming together now. They're banding together because they're on the last legs. They need their loosh. And we are like big, humongous smorgasbord platters, and they want to get their energy. They're attacking us. And recently, I've come to realize, and I've been in this is my first rodeo, that many of the things that we think are just normal parts of life, just bad luck, just hereditary, just this crap happens, are really demonic attachments. And probably one of the most insidious, I will say, darkness that has perpetrated our society and has gone rampant is narcissism. I don't think there is one person here that is watching now that has not met a narcissist, that has not suffered in one way or another from narcissistic abuse, whether it's your family, your friends, your job, it's everywhere. With the, let's say, the social media and the rise of social media and selfies, we have a pandemic of narcissism. Everyone wants they want everything. It's all about me, 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 me. And people think that this is just a normal part of society. People act this way. No, they don't. People don't know that narcissism and narcissists are really demonic. It's a dark energy. So we're going to talk about this today. More specifically, how do you know if you are being attacked by a narcissist or if you are suffering from narcissistic abuse? Why is narcissism rampant? How does the demonic use it? How do we detect it? How do we protect ourselves? And how do we fight it? And so without further ado, I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to introduce all these lovely ladies. They have been on my program before, but just in case you're new here or you don't really know exactly what they do, I'm going to introduce. So Kate, if you don't mind, because you're next to me on the screen, if you don't mind introducing yourself or reintroducing yourself, a little information about what you do, your specialty, and just so you know, all these lovely ladies on the screen, all the information to get in touch with them is below in the description of the show. And I'm going to give this to Kate.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kate Sterling. I'm an energetic practitioner, healing practitioner. I've been doing, energy healing for 20 years at least. And I specialize in removing demonic attachments, any kind of spiritual or energetic interference, and then restoring the body. What else can I say? I don't know. I have a passion for it. I actually have a passion for it and have been mapping out the unseen world and what we're bothered with and what's happening to us, because the unseen world is just as active as the physical world. So I map out all kinds of what's going on. I'll just say that for now.
Fabulous. Yeah. And Miss Asria, would you like to tell us about?
Good evening. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Oh God, there's probably many names, but a multi-dimensional healer. So I work through transmissions, frequencies, and star beings predominantly. So within those, working with frequencies and energies, obviously you do get both sides. But it's really bringing and helping individuals to bring themselves back into their own sovereignty, back into their own authenticity through those vibrations and frequencies and those transmissions through from our star being and our star friends, who are certainly making themselves very well known in our skies at the moment. So anyway, it's an absolute pleasure to be amongst these amazing ladies yet again. So I look forward to the rest of the show.
As do I. And last but not least, the beautiful Peyton. How are you? Would you like to let everyone know you're on mute, just to let you know?
I would have said everything and you would not have heard a thing. What am I like? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's really great to be on this panel again with Kate, Asria, and yourself, Lady D. The last time we had so much fun, and I think we gave quite a lot of great information. So I am looking forward to building on that and giving a further step to everything that we did last time. I'm a psychic practitioner, and I specialize in your soul contract revocation. I facilitate your trauma release, especially if it's ancestral trauma. I also work alongside Kate and independently, removing attachments of all kinds, closing portals, the whole kit and caboodle. It's good fun. It could seem intimidating to some, but Kate and I, we do love it. So we do a great job. So we get tucked in and we enjoy what we do. You know what they say, do what you love and it's not work. So that's what we end up doing, what we love. I also do spiritual counseling. So anyone needs to understand where they are in life, because a lot of people are going through such a shift and a change, and they don't understand why they don't connect with friends the same way anymore, or why they don't like the things that they used to like anymore. And it's a bit of confusion because they have no direction or anyone among them to guide them. I step in once you've made contact with me and help you make sense of all that you're going through and help you to now understand a new path and the growth that you're on.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. And everyone knows what I do. You're on this channel. If you're not, I'm Lady D. This is my channel, Oracle of Lady D. I had the pleasure of meeting all of these beautiful soul family, soul sisters. This year, they came into my life. I don't just do card readings. I've been a psychic intuitive and a channeler. I channel my higher self, the divine. I do not channel entities. I do soul therapy. I do past life regressions. I do past life readings. I do a little bit of everything. I also do energy release therapy sessions in which we do a session and we release any type of blockages in your energy centers, because we know dis-ease, it comes from dis-ease. So everyone pretty much knows who I am and what we do. So let's get right into the show. And let's talk about narcissism. And ladies, and I'm going to start with Peyton, so you're on the top left. Peyton, why do you think there's such a rise in narcissism, especially today in our society?
I think with the opening up of social media and everyone having a device that they can get that instant gratification with, as opposed to in the past, you had to be someone of relevance, importance, or have something to show for it to be interviewed by the media, and then a spotlight is put upon you and your name is put in the paper. But now everyone has that on their device in their hands, so they're putting themselves out there, and it's for no good reason. They have no great thing to share. It's literally me, 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 me. And it's become a competition to be relevant and to flaunt the nothing that they have to show. So it is an aggressive space to be in, to try to constantly keep being relevant. So it's kind of being inbred into this society, especially as children are now being given devices from a young age, and they're being groomed into that mindset of not having to accomplish anything in order to get recognition. They just have to take a photograph and put it out there and look for likes and admiration. So this is why I believe that narcissism, or the narcissistic personality template, is on a rise in our society right now that we're living through.
Beautiful. I agree. Asria, what would you like to add on that topic?
Well, it's been fortunate or unfortunate that I've had three major experiences with narcissists in my life that I'll probably come on to talk about a bit more in detail later. But so this is coming from both a lived experience and hearing through clients as well. But certainly what I've seen over the past few years is that as the vibration and as the frequency on our planet is heightening. Remember, I'm getting twinges already. The narcissist is a parasite. Mm-hmm. So, and they kind of like needs a feed. So, as Dee was saying, and I think Kate and Peyton were saying as well earlier, is that they need a feed. So, where Peyton was saying with the ego is very much kind of like the narcissist, the narcissist, that parasite's food. So if somebody is within that energy and within that frequency, bam, that's kind of one area to focus on. But as I said, as this frequency is rising, they don't really have many places to hide. So that is why you do get this kind of whole expanse of these people that you thought were maybe really nicey, and sometimes having that calm exterior and that kind exterior is falling away because the mask is now falling or has fallen for certain. And I really think that that is why within this time that we are at the moment, sometimes they're a little bit easier to spot. And I think those people who are experiencing it or have experienced it are also being believed now, because there are so many of us who have experienced it. So you're not silly, or you're being very much believed. And certainly as an empath as well, empaths are very much the gatekeepers of those frequencies. So we're now coming into our own and recognizing what those are. We're feeling the different shifts. We're feeling the different vibrations. And we know that when we get those parasites in, don't like that. We're feeling into those vibrations as well. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely. Kate, what say you?
Okay, Lady D, what was your question again? Why is there a rise in narcissism?
Yeah, and especially now, it seems like it's rampant in our society, and it's beginning exponentially worse and worse and worse.
Perfect. I agree with what Peyton and Asria have said. I think that what I'm seeing in my practice is a number of people, the majority of people being souls that said, it ends with me. I came into an ancestral lineage and a pattern, and it ends with me. And I don't care what it takes. I'm going to break it. We all have seen that, or we are those people. And thank goodness that now narcissism is being talked about. Healers and psychics and intuitives are talking about it more as well, and validating experience, because we can see what's unseen. And what Peyton and I know from working with us all the time is that narcissists always take on a demon. Every single narcissist on this planet has at least one demon who's running the show for that person. That's the way it works. And I'd like to talk about I've seen 5 different ways that happens, but I'll save that. But what I want to see is they have one main demon that kind of runs everything. They may have others with them, and many of them will choose other demons based on how the demons can help them, and what abilities they have, and how much power and control that the individual wants. So I guess that's what I'll say. So you're literally dealing with a person that has an entity, a being, let's call it what it is, a demon attached to them, who is extending cords to you to take your energy, who is playing mind games with you to make you frustrated and to bring your energy level down. You know what I mean? And get your adrenals up so they can feed off of that. So there's like a feeding frenzy going from these narcissists. They're incredibly clever, just really clever. So that's all I'll say right now, but there's so much we could say.
Oh yeah, we could be here forever.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you all said. And I will say that, I grew up with a narcissistic mother, a narcissistic sister, and a narcissistic family. And I will say that they probably do have attachments, as we all know now, but it's not like they're evil people. You know what? We brought up Christian. I was brought up Catholic. It's not like they're devil worshiping. It's not like they're sitting there cutting off crows' heads in a pentagram. They are very loving, caring people. It's just that they have demonic attachments and they don't know. And I would like to also ask too, in families, is it the same demons that attach to themselves? Are they attached to, is it a demon attached to a family? And is this the spirit of narcissism or demon, is it attached to our DNA? And is it the same demons and the same dark energy in all the lineage? Because it is I grew up on both sides. I had both sides, such narcissism on my mother's side and my father's side, and they're loving, caring, great people.
Yeah.
So how does it happen, Peyton? And is it something that are these demonic attachments attached to families and in our DNA and our lineage?
Well, just to clarify, we have the diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. So those are the ones that are official. And then you have, like what I was saying about social media and everyone just wanting the adoration of the attention. That's sort of like a narcissistic sort of desire and personality, but without it being a disorder. So the both of them has their roots in something very negative. And it all stems with the ego. Some may and may not have attachments. Some are just really driven people with nasty personalities, and the demons have nothing to do with it. Some people are just nasty. However, the ones with the demons, depending on the cycle that you've observed with the family, it could be the same demon coming through generation after generation, and the family is experiencing the same thing over and over and just can't understand for the life of them how come we're all widows, or how come all the men in the family are alcoholics, or how come we can't have children, after a certain point. There's always something recurring over and over, and that's a real big indication that you have the same demon just manifesting itself over thousands of years within one family lineage. Yes.
Unbelievable. That's what I thought. Asria, what would you like to add about, narcissism and family lineage?
Well, that is very much so. Thank you, Peyton. That's very much confirmed a thought I've been having for a while, because I know with my own experiences, it was through it was my ex-husband, but I know, like, looking in hindsight at his family, that it was like you could see kind of like from grandparents to mother, but it was only kind of when he got to a certain point, that then turned into a full possession. Like you were saying, there was never any formal diagnosis. There was formal diagnosis of depression at some point. But with that, it was very much the cars, the money, the whatever. So it wasn't necessarily the fame, but there was certainly very much ego driven. And it went from, yes, okay, there's something nasty around, that over the 10 years was kind of growing and growing, and every so often would pull back. It's kind of like, oh, maybe she's figured me out, maybe she's found it out, would kind of step back, and then as soon as kind of like your guards let down, would sort of come forward again. Sorry, I could go on about that for forever and a day, but certainly I really do feel that, as you said, it is within that family. So thank you so much for confirming that, Peyton. And I do, one of the things that I would say to people is that it doesn't matter if it's a mom or a dad or a sister or a whoever, because I've heard so many of my clients say, oh, but it's my mum, she can't be. It's my brother, she can't be. It's my daughter, there's no way it could be. You are a soul. You are a light being. So yes, you have come down here with a contract. So unfortunately, within that soul family, as Peyton, just following on from what you were saying there, Peyton, yes, it by the sounds of it, it can then go through. So it doesn't matter if it's a brother, a mother, a sister, a friend, somebody you've known for 30 years. Sometimes it's the ones that are closest that we find the hardest to accept.
Very profound and so true. Kate, what say you about this, about family, the lineage of narcissism?
Absolutely agree with what Peyton and Asria have said too. Yeah, it's like let's say the demon that's attached to the family line will affect everyone in that line, and a little bit differently depending on who the member of the family is, but they're still influenced, and they're influenced at a very young age. And I see that as one of the ways that a narcissist would take on a demon. You will take on your family's demon, let's say, unless you choose not to. You'd have to do work, and you'd have to have some conscious awareness that, hey, well, I'm one of these souls that came in and I'm breaking this. I'm breaking this family tradition that no longer works, and it ends with me. You'd have to be very aware and then remove those attachments. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
So Kate, why don't we get into what you wanted to talk about earlier about how to detect it? Because I think that a lot of us, and we've talked about this the last time we were on, that it's almost like with the frogs boiling in the pot. Sometimes we don't even know that we're being narcissistically abused, which includes, gaslighting and all of that, like the umbrella of, the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse. So how do we know that we are dealing with the narcissist? Because a lot of it is very stealth, and there's a lot of covert narcissism. Like, for instance, my mother would act one way to me, and she would be like so bitchy and awful to me. But then she would be, in no sense, I love my mother, and she's done a lot of work. But, she would be one way at home, and then she would go to church and she'd be in the choir and she'd be the cantor and she'd act like an angel. And then she, come home and scream and yell and swear. So, um, so how do we know? What are the telltale signs, if you don't mind, Kate?
That's a great question. I'm looking at it from an energetic perspective. How do we know?
Okay.
Because they have a habit of attacking and then going away, presenting themselves to the world as one thing, presenting themselves at home as another. And you're left with always this feeling, this sick feeling in your stomach. That's partly the being feeding on you, right? But it's also like your experiences of a person aren't matching how you think you should feel. You know what I'm saying? How you should feel. So I think that's one way, is listening to that. Is that from an energetic perspective, you can see those beings, and you can see how the person is reacting. You can see the attachments near them or on them or whatever that is. Yeah.
I agree. Now, see, the one thing that the three of these lovely ladies have is that I'm not a medium. They can see the other side more so than I can, and they can see the attachments. I'm beginning to see. I can hear and stuff. But for me, I can't see the demons, but I can tell, and I'm learning. It's like I'm learning my body. If I'm around a narcissist, I will leave feeling horrible. I will leave feeling drained, confused. That's another one, confused. Like you think you know everything and they'll confuse you. They'll throw you off. They'll second guess you. They'll tell you you're wrong to try to steer you. It's like you feel awful. And if somebody, to me, if somebody really has their true interest, your true interest at heart, they love and they care about you, you don't leave being around them or leave the conversation feeling awful and confused and just feeling like that, like you said, that gut wrenching feeling. What
You'll
say you,
never,
Kate?
yeah,
Oh, go
you'll
ahead.
never,
Go
let
ahead.
me just say this, you'll never feel validated.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how much you do, how you could be whatever, you could be the highest level of anything or really accomplish something, you'll never be validated. You'll always have that empty feeling. But I agree with you. You'll feel exhausted and all of that stuff always. So
Would you like to add anything, Peyton or Asria?
I would. Other than I listened to what you said about your mother. So other than them presenting differently, because when they're out, the mask is on because everyone is charmed by them and they're the most beautiful person in the world. And it's usually only the closest people behind closed doors really see their true colors. But another facet to that is the person that they're also really horrible to when they have an attachment is because that person's light is irritating the attachment. So the person has no other resolve than to be acting very irritated and irritable with you because you just are rubbing them the wrong way. They really cannot stand to be in your light. So they would treat you a lot worse than their friends on the outside that they're just spending a very, very little time with and they know they're coming home. But when they come home, they have to spend a much longer time with you and they lose their composure. Your light is shining way too bright and it's just driving that demon insane.
Ooh, very interesting. So sometimes it's like they go off on you, and I think that they don't even understand why, or they just don't like you.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Asra, do you want anything that you'd like to add on this?
Yeah, I think all the points have been fantastic, but I certainly believe from my perspective as well is that you do have that element, and I think that you said it beautifully earlier, is and the way we're going back to our own sovereignty is how does that person, how is that energy, how does that make me feel, how is that it's going back in and saying trusting that energy, trusting those vibrations to say, is that something, is that not? Because as much as sometimes you can see it, and I know that hopefully we're going to go on to another program at some point around the whole possession thing, because then you get like the facial changes and things like that. But I also do believe as well, it's lots of little things. If we're just talking about kind of like the narcissistic behavior, you'll also have things of they will never lose an argument. It's things like that. They'll never lose an argument. Every conversation will then go back to around them. They'll never really like a gift. They might go, oh, yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, bye-bye. There's lots of telltale signs that, again, as Peyton was saying in the beginning, is linked to the ego because it's all about feeding it. It's all about feeding it. And then, as I said, going back to that energy as well, is that there'll always be that put down because, as I said, they're wanting to reduce yours. So, and sometimes within that home environment, depending on how long that's been over a period of time, that might have become the norm. That might have become the normal. So every so often it'll be the push down, push down, push down, push down, until one day it's kind of like, can't do that anymore. And when that empath and when that person starts going, actually, hold on a minute, there's something not quite right here. You see how far that narcissist then changes, or see where that feed is coming from next. Because as soon as one feed starts detaching, they will always need to go and get that feed from somewhere else because they're not, as Kate was saying, with like the adrenals and that, they're not pulling. Because that person's then gone, oh, actually, no, something's wrong here. Shields start going up. So see if if that person is then going and finding other friends or a partner or cheating or whatever the case may be. I said we could be here listing things all day. But just see when you start closing off, pulling back, what's their reaction? Because as Kate said, we always need a feed. And that mask will be going up and down like a blooming yo-yo. Just you watch.
It's so right. I'm thinking about my ex-husband. Never, and my ex, well, soon to be ex-husband and my mother, they could never, very rarely. I think my mother said sorry maybe once in my life, and I think maybe my ex-husband maybe once. They can't say they're sorry. They can't admit that they're wrong. It's almost like if they admit that they're wrong, they'll drop dead.
Yeah.
Why is that, Kate? And do you want to explain, and do you want to go more into that as to it's so attached with that ego. It's just like I love the way you said it. It's like they have this presentation of how they present themselves to the world, and then you. And it's all about appearances and all about facades and the adoration. So do you want to talk more about that, Kate, and anything else? This is like an open forum, and I know you all individually, the three of you ladies, have different ideas and things, messages. So I just want to make it let's let it free flow. So, Kate, what else do you want to add to this topic, and what else do you want to talk about this specifically?
Related to this is why someone would be a narcissist, because there's a lot of conversation like, are they born or are they made? From my perspective, here's what happens. At some point, an infant, or it could be older, takes on a demon, and at that point they're a narcissist. That's how I define it. Why? Because when a demon, let's say when a demon is introduced and completely attaches to a person, you're going to have a mesh of their two personalities. But the demon's personality is going to come through very strongly. Well, demons don't ever want to be wrong. They always want to be right. It's all about power and control for them, and energy, and having their way, having like the ability to do whatever they want to without question. That's like a demon's motive. So let me just talk really quickly about how and why I see them attached. In no particular order. Okay, I'm just listing from my years of studying this. So okay, babies can be given, or young children be given a demon. Let's say if they're part of a ritual or sexual abuse, they could intentionally be given one by the group, or by someone in the group, or one could enter during trauma or sexual abuse when they're young. Because when you're young, you don't have the ability to screen out things or even know that would be part of the process. When you're an adult, you wouldn't know either. I mean, I've seen somebody that got a demon from a narcissist through intercourse, is what I'm going to say. So you don't know, you wouldn't expect that. Another way that they take one on is I've seen many young souls, when they're born, like they have a life contract and they think, oh, my life is going to go this way. I'm going to be really powerful. And then they get in their family and they go, holy hell, what is this? And the soul doesn't think it will survive in the baby or survive in its body without taking on something that's powerful that will help it. So I've seen many, many people as infants take on a demon. It will be like the demon comes and says, hey, I'll be your friend. This life is going to be hard. You're going to need somebody helping you, and I'll help you. And then the infant or the young child would say, yes, come in. And then they wouldn't know it, but they would grow up feeling this is them. You know what I mean? Okay, I've got a helper here. And you would lose like, what is you and what is the demon? Because the demon will always try to take over the personalities to get what they want. Another thing is that I've seen souls come in because they wanted to continue their lives of power. And so they come in, they were a narcissist taking on other demons and other lives. They're going to come in and they're going to do the same thing. So they'll take the most aggressive, powerful demons that they can to accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. The other thing is I've seen like teenagers take them on like willingly because they're experimenting around, and then they realize, oh, these things are really powerful. I can get my way. And then they'll keep the demon with them later on, realizing, oh my gosh, this thing is ruining my life. You know, now it's so aggressive and out of hand that I don't have any control. So those are the main ways I see it. And again, the demons being a part of a family line too, and you being, you know what I mean, you can take them on. They can be part of your life as well through the lineage. I hope that's clear and that makes sense.
Wow. Yes, it really does. Peyton, is anything you would like to add on that?
Yes, I agree with everything Kate has just said, but I want to just add another part to it. Also, some people just have the demon soul. They are the dark soul. They're just being birthed in as an actual human demon. So that's another one to look at. And we would like to think that they're easily identifiable, but they're very good at mimicking and masking and fitting in. And they might be the ones that are the most charismatic, not openly abusive. They're very savvy, and you might be trapped in a relationship without actually being notably abused. But when you do think about it, you think, hold on, I haven't seen my friends in 10 years. I've been isolated in this house. I've done nothing else but just serve this person. And you had no idea because they're not coming across glaringly bad or aggressive. It's just this undertone of manipulation or gaslighting that you don't really have an answer for defense because they're like 10 steps ahead of you, but they're always very, very calm and composed and controlled. Some of these people could just be dark souls that are very savvy. They've spent many, many thousands of years observing the human behavior, and they've come in and they're playing their role as best as they can and getting away with all the things that they can. Some of these people could be very, very successful as well. And I'm not saying everyone who is successful is of this ilk, but you can observe some of them sometimes. You see that they're driven and they're really focused, and it takes nothing for them to cut a circle or a friend or a family and just keep moving. It does not bother them. They will not miss them. They don't care. And they just keep going.
That's genius. And that explains so much of what we're seeing let's say at the top and other places too. But I mean, thank you for that perspective, Peyton.
Oh, you're welcome.
That makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they have no empathy.
No
They
conscience.
they don't care. They can just like totally walk all over you or destroy your life, and it's like they don't have the ability to care about you. It's this self-serving, selfish. It's the end justifies the means type of attitude. What say you, Asria?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just absolutely in listening deeply into what both Kate and Peyton were saying, because it's something that I've been thinking about for a while. So there's been a lot of confirmation and validation there. So thank you. And I would also absolutely agree in regards to it's not always the negative talk. It's not always the put downs. It's not, they're subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Like with again, I can only speak from experience and not like a Kate and Paint, but certainly from is that it's the small things over time. As I was saying before, it's the build up and build up and build up. Again, I think we'll come on to one about possession, but I think there will be a question for you guys in a sec, but around kind of there being, if a person is a demonic or soul, or if they do have a demonic attachment, whether they can, it's almost sort of put it to sleep for a bit. It's kind of like, okay, well, actually, I'm going to be this personality for a little while and then get to a point, and it's kind of like, you know what, I'm tired of resting. Because I certainly felt that through my marriage, because in the beginning it was a whole kind of like bed of roses, and it was only later on where you literally you could see very like facial expressions and a whole heap of stuff that what I was actually dealing with at the time. So I will think of a question and maybe we'll come back to it in a bit. But certainly I do strongly feel that it isn't always immediate. It isn't always in your face. Because there was somebody gave me, may have been yourself, that gave me a really, really good example. You know, like if you put like a frog in a pot and you have like the flames underneath, it won't actually realize that it's getting hot. Mm-hmm. But if obviously, I'm not saying anyone do not do this at home, kids. But then if you put kind of like a frog on top of a flame, obviously it's going to burn and jump off, and there we go. But it's kind of like that, and it's getting to that boiling point. Mm-hmm. Because you don't always see it straight away. And that's when Dee, you put it beautifully earlier around. What does it feel like in here? As soon as you meet somebody, as soon as you like walk into a house that you've never been to, you go, oh, not too sure of this. Same with people. Because at the end of the day, frequency doesn't lie.
Yep.
Energy doesn't lie.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think that is absolutely key. And certainly as empaths and sensitive beings, we are those, as I said, frequency gatekeepers. So we're identifying where these are.
If you, that's a great point, Asria. If you look at the energy body of a person that has lived with a narcissist, you'll see that it looks like death by a million cuts, because what their energy body looks like is cut, and scar tissue will form and harden in certain areas around, like on the body. Let's say that the aggressor doesn't like the person to speak out or say anything. You'll see cut after cut after cut after cut after cut. You'll see what looks like a rope and a cord around the person's energy field, because they're trying to shut you up. And you'll feel that. And sometimes you may feel like, if you're experiencing pain in a certain area, it would be the throat, it'd be the solar plexus chakra, it would be then the other two, like all three of the lower chakras could be interfered with, because they're trying to take your energy, to trying to tell you like to shut up. And you can see it in the energy body. Even if somebody would come to us and say, tell me what's going on, you would look and you would see all the trauma there. I mean, it looks like trauma over and over. So yeah.
Very interesting. You know what Asria was saying is really hit home, because I noticed that all the narcissists in my life, it's not immediate. It's very stealthy. It's very insidious. And what they do is they kind of, they ingratiate themselves. They tell you everything that you want to hear. They're charming, and they love bomb you, and they make you feel safe, and they make you feel like you're on top of the world. And then when they gain your trust, then they attack you like a snake.
Yes, they switch, because
Yes.
also their mask falls off, because it's
Yes.
only a period of time they can keep that up for, until they can't do it anymore. So it just happens to align sometimes with when they have you right in the palm of their hands, because they put all the energy into the work to get you. And the moment they've gotten you, they just relax, and now they've become themselves. So that's what you see.
That's a great point.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. That is a great point. Now, do you ladies think that, now we talked about how insidious it is. Now we talk about how insidious and how it kind of sneaks its way and slithers. Like, let's face it, the devil comes to distract, deceive, and destroy. So a narcissist is not going to be like, hi, I'm a narcissist. How in society has that incendiary, I shouldn't say incendiary, the insidious, how do you think as a society, it kind of, you notice it kind of slithered its way up? So why do you think, I mean, I think it's because of where we are on the precipice of this huge spiritual war. But how do you think is the main, I would say, culprit as why it's so insidious in our society? Go ahead.
I'll just go first. Okay.
Go for it.
In general, if I look at how our systems have been set up and how everything has been set up, we've been told, and like psychic abilities and intuitive abilities haven't been taken seriously on purpose. People who are gifted or have these kind of, I'm going to call them superpowers, because they're kind of ostracized, made fun of, etc. on purpose. And so I think we grow up not paying attention to what we're really feeling and paying attention to it. And I think we learn to numb ourselves, block it out, and then the narcissist gets their way. And then the systems are infiltrated. Every system, doesn't matter what it is, medical, political, they're all infiltrated by narcissists who rise to the top. And they can, because they're cunning, and they can just be absolutely brutal to get what they want.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So anything you'd like to add, Kate or Asria?
Yes. I was going to build on what Kate said, and that's exactly it. A narcissist, the reason why it's thriving so much in society is because they get their reward. It's not like they're getting a punishment for their behavior. They're literally getting their reward. If it's praise, likes, promotion at the job, money, success, whatever it is, that personality type, be it it's diagnosed or it's just grandiose ego, they're getting what they want. So they're not going to give it up because it's working in their favor. And that's one of the driving forces behind being so cunning and being a narcissist and stepping on people's heads and getting ahead, because who cares? I may never see that person again, but I will have my big house. That's the personality. So they get their rewards, and they will do certain things that the average person who doesn't hold that personality, they won't do. So they will do everything, and you know what I mean, all the filthy things and all the disgusting things, they will do it all because they have their eyes set on the goal, on the target, and nothing gets in the way of that. Whereas someone else who is not like that is going to say, oh no, I couldn't possibly compromise myself like that. Sorry, that's not important to me. So it's because they get their reward. That's the fuel. If we took away their reward for that behavior, there will be no more narcissists, but it will take a lot to take away those kinds of rewards.
Yeah. The society is, our whole society is based on that success, money, material things, getting ahead at the expense of others. That's like the virus that is like perpetrated on society. Asria, anything you'd like to add on that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely agreeing with that, where I think you'd have say like the empath would get their reward by helping somebody or having that or doing something nice or kind or whatever, as absolutely agreeing with Peyton, where the narcissist, it is all about feeding that ego. It's they will happily drop their friends and their family to get that whatever it is, whether it be fame, whether it be money, whether it be, because again, remember, it's and again, please correct me if I'm wrong here, ladies, is that it's kind of about, I forgot where my train of thought was going, but it's coming back to the point. I really lost my train of thought.
We were talking about society breeding narcissism because of the rise to the top and them doing everything they want to, anything they want to get ahead, not playing fair. Yeah.
So it's they've been made. Thank you, Kate. The demonic side has made the promises. There has been that promise of kind of like you'll be doing, you're doing their due as the body, as their human body. So therefore, you're going to get the fame and the money and the this and the that.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, it's kind of like you can either carry on and get more fame and money, or you might actually realize this isn't where I needed to go. But at the end of the day, it really depends. Again, what is that driver?
Yeah.
What is that driver? And again, I think we are very much going back to the time of ourselves, our authenticity, our sovereignty. So there are more empath light workers that are going, well, yes, okay, money is great and having this and that, the other is fantastic. But what is real and what is true?
Yep.
Yep.
Is
Go
raising
for it,
my
Kate.
hand. I have a question for Asria, because it takes a lot of strength to know that you're a spiritual warrior, to do your work, and then to put good work out and to help in many ways, in new ways, let's say, of breaking through the light and helping others. I'm wondering if there's a galactic connection to like certain types of spiritual beings, or with certain like maybe certain star beings or whatever coming in, or is it all the Pleiadians and Andromedas, all that? It seems like it really takes a strong, solid soul or sense of who we are. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the gift of those of us that know we come from the stars. Earth isn't our only.
Even if we're not necessarily, and I think that's an amazing question, Kate. Thank you. Is that is really, really strong. I mean, even if we've got that maybe slight inkling that we might be, but at the end of the day, it's how we feel within ourselves. People are at different points on their journey, but that doesn't decry from the fact that you are a soul being, you are a light being. Whether you're a star seed from a particular star system, whether, as you were saying, Kate, whether you're Pleiadian, whether you're Lemurian, whether you're whatever the case may be, it's how you are right here, right now. So it's how are you feeling right here, right now, to that person, to that narcissist, to that energy and frequency that you're feeling. But certainly, yes, there might be the personality within, that human body that just says, you know what, I'm not taking any of this shit anymore. But there could be also, within that energy as well within you that just says, not doing that. I don't like that. Use the chakra points on your hands and push it back. I'm not dealing with it.
Got it.
Does that answer the question?
That totally does, because you could be a person that really identifies with the earth. I've had all my lives on the earth, but I'm a powerful soul, no matter what, no matter where I come from or whatever I identify with, and I'm taking charge, or I know I'm well connected and things aren't how they should be here. So I'm taking charge. Yeah. Whether you understand there's a connection or, don't feel there is another one to the star beings. Yeah. Great. Okay. Great answer.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter where you are in your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all learning. So thank you.
Now, ladies, let's talk about how being around a narcissist, how it affects us. Let's talk about physical and spiritual. And Kate, I'm going to refer to you because you are kind of like a pro at this and you deal with this a lot. So can you, in your profession, in your experience, how does narcissistic abuse, how does it hurt us physically and spiritually and in our spiritual evolution?
Okay, I'm going to talk about it energetically and then how it affects the body. So what I see in the energetic fields and in the physical for people that have been long-term exposed, let's say, to narcissism, I'll see that things like autoimmune diseases that have no real, like you can't really pinpoint what it is, but nothing's really working. Okay. I'll see a lot of issues in the digestive system, especially what we call SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. That's very, very, very common. And then all of the things that could be considered like a Crohn's disease or, ulcerative colitis and those kind of things. Those are main things. Cancer is another one. Cancer is huge. And if you think about it, if you've been following what the natural medicine community is saying, that parasites are part of cancer. They may be, in fact, that may be what cancer is, or it's always some part of it. And so there's wonderful treatments and clinics that have opened just to treat it with parasite medicine and things like that. So it's at least a part of it. And you think about what are these attachments? They're parasites. And so why wouldn't you hold them and keep them in your body? And why wouldn't they form? And they do. So I see that. I think the number one thing is it starts with like nervous system dysregulation, where your adrenals aren't high all the time. You're prone to like the triggers that the narcissist puts in the environment, such as every time the garage door goes up, you panic because they're home or something like that. There's always something like that, or the way that they slam something down on the counter or whatever it might be. So the nervous system is always on. It can't relax. And then there's a lot of things that happen from that, brain fog, ADD, sleeplessness, those kind of things. Those are the main probably 4 things that I see.
Peyton, what have you, in your experience, how can you tell if somebody has been, around a narcissist or suffered narcissistic abuse?
You can see it within the person's physicality in this dimension here, in this reality. They seem to be having their life force or life source drained. They look haggard, they look tired. It's a mental strain for them as well, like they've lost their equilibrium. They're totally dependent on what the person has to tell them to guide them. Like if you ask them a question, they honestly couldn't give their own opinion anymore. Their entire life and their own thoughts are now based around what they think the person who's abusing them will want them to say or represent them as. So it does look really haggering on some people, even if they're trying to hide it and it doesn't have to be abusive, physical abuse, pardon me. It can just be that sweet, savvy narcissist, or it could be just emotional narcissism. It takes a toll on the physical body. Your health is at risk here as well, because you're constantly stressed. You're walking on eggshells because you're afraid of the repercussion or the snarky remark that cuts like a knife just as much as a punch does. And it blow after a period of time, it just keeps breaking you down. You put on the brave face for friends and family or to go out to the supermarket, but inside you're just dying. Some people do become very, very ill, and it's like a slow death process, to be honest. It's like literally killing the person without using a weapon, a physical weapon on them. So those are some of the signs you can observe. And if they're not presenting it that physical, where you can't see that they look drained, definitely their thoughts are no longer their own. You can see them pause to think, what should I say? Because I'm going to get in trouble if I say anything different. I can't accept this invitation to dinner because I need to talk it over with that person first. Because if I go home and say, oh, we're going to Lady D's house for dinner, I might get punched in the face or get locked up in the room the next week. So you can see the thought process going through their mind, or they feel stunned, or they're just avoiding you as well. There are lots of little telltale signs, and it's really hard to get someone out of that kind of relationship as well, because it's frightening for them, because they think the person is going to come after them as well, because they more than you do know what they're capable of, and they're really trying to protect themselves. So it becomes a sort of fight or flight, but they're not fighting. What they're doing is fawning.
Very good analogy and good analysis. Asria, in either in your personal experience or your professional, how is being around a narcissist in your experience, how does it hurt people?
Hurt. I mean, just following on from Peyton there, it is both sort of mental, physical. I would certainly say, I know Kate was referring to kind of like going into the solar plexus before, and I certainly felt that a lot of so many people are diagnosed with like IBS, irritable bowel disorder, because there is so much. You've either got the tension, as Peyton was just saying there, as to what's going on. You've got it from an energetic perspective. You've also got the amount of control, because it's kind of, well, I want to go and do this, but I know they're going to want to do that. Or it's kind of, I want to wear this top today, but they don't like it, so I'm going to wear a different one. So it's even from like the subtle to the bigger stuff. So certainly I personally found that it was around kind of like the stomach area, where you don't necessarily, there's no kind of remedies. You can drink as much ginger tea and peppermint tea as much as you can, but nothing, because it's that muscle, because you're tensing all the time as much as you're getting that energy in. Also, it's the mental, because remember with the narcissist as well, they are going in at every level. Every single one of those energy bodies is being attacked. So even on like the mental side, that level of control, because again, that's one of the things they thrive off of. And I know Peyton just mentioned there around what to do, when to do it, and even after. The main thing is afterwards. You might find yourself 2, 3, 10 months later, 2 years later. You know, like, I don't know, when you're a kid, your mother used to tell you to fold your t-shirt in a certain way. So when you fold in the washing up, you still hear your mum's voice going, hold it that way, not that way. Same thing. You kind of still hear their voice going, I don't want you to wear that. You shouldn't be wearing that. It happens later on. So if you're hearing that, again, there's still that energy kind of little bits hanging around. And confidence. And again, I know Peyton said there where you get that tired, drained, and I think Kate was referring to it as well, because they're pulling on all those adrenals and that. So not only from a energetic perspective, but again, on an emotional, on a mental level as well. Even though externally people might go, yeah, you're looking good. On the inside, you're going, no, I'm not. I'm hating this. This is awful. Because that's what you've been told, again, time and time. So it does take a while. And I know in sort of with myself and with others, sometimes it's taken 2 years, 3 years, sometimes even getting other sort of therapists involved, and people like Kate and Peyton. So again, working on every single level, rebalancing those. I think, yeah, would certainly be from my perspective.
As you're saying that, Asria, I have this real sense of, and you really captured it with, you're like a prisoner in your own life. You have to put on a good face. Nothing makes sense to you, but you're a prisoner. You're just walking through the motions. And that so adequately describes it. That's what the energy body looks like too. Literally, it will look like you're bound around and around and around. It would look like if somebody did a spell on you, a binding or casting kind of spell, you would be bound around with energy all the way around you, like tied up. Like I'm thinking of the tarot card where there's the woman and she has the blinder around her face, and it's a swords or something. Lady D,
Eight of Swords. I think it's the Eight of
Swords, and she's bound.
Yes.
That's what the energy body will look like.
Yeah. From my personal experience,
really interesting.
I'm sorry. Did you want to say something, Asria? I'm
No,
sorry. I
sorry.
didn't mean to interrupt you. From my personal perspective, I know personally in my life being raised by a narcissist, and in a narcissistic family, it's a slowly chipping away of your self-esteem. It's like I didn't know who I was for so long. I was everything to everybody else. I was constantly trying to get my self-worth and my validation from outside sources, trying to please everybody, and especially as empaths, right? We have the ability to go into a room and intuitively sense what these people thinking or feeling, and trying to gain their favor or be everything to everyone. And it's like you slowly lose, you chip away your self-esteem and you lose who you are. So you look in the mirror and you're like, who the fuck am I? I'm trying to please this one, I'm trying to please that one, and you can never please them. And then you try to please the whole world and you can't. That's never enough. And then you realize, who am I? And you lose your self-esteem, you lose your self-worth, you don't love yourself, and you lose your identity. And you get to a certain point and you're just lost. And then you have this identity crisis. And then it's like you don't want to be alone, because when you're alone, you're left with yourself. And when you're getting your validation from especially the narcissist in your life, it's like all of a sudden you don't know who you are. You don't know where to go from there. And that's when and it's like, wow. And it's really hard dealing with the narcissists that are near and dear to you, like your family members, because it's not like you know, you can all of a sudden, I mean, if it gets really to the point that they have been like no contact with mothers and fathers and kids. But on the most part, we have to deal and be, a lot of, I deal in my clients, a lot of their children are narcissists and their parents love their kids. They didn't mean to bring up narcissists. It's just what happened. And sometimes with this society, we were talking about this earlier, Asria, I think. We went from, really strict parents, and now it's gone to the other end of the spectrum. It's like now the kids have no respect for their parents. So it's like, it's gone. It's not this, like, you're just born this way. Like you said, sometimes people are born like completely demonic, but how do we gain back control of our self-esteem and our life? How do we start when we just realize I've been suffering narcissistic abuse? I am surrounded by narcissists. How do I take the first step to gaining control and taking my life and my power back? And whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I'd like to contribute first, if that's all right, ladies.
Sure, absolutely.
When you're a victim of a narcissist, other than all the things that they inflict on you, if it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, you have shame, endless shame that you are experiencing for being in this relationship, for being so intelligent, so educated, and just ending up in this situation. It's a shame that you can't shake, because you can't go to anyone and confess and say, well, I'm in a really bad situation. Can you help me? Because your pride gets in the way. So you have your own obstacles that you're dealing with because of your own ego in this moment. And that shame could be crippling. And that's why a lot of people just tolerate the narcissists around them, because they would rather do that than admit that an intelligent person like themselves got caught in a situation like that. So if we can just accept that life throws silly things at us and it's not our fault, we just made a mistake, just like anyone has made a mistake. This may be the first step to healing yourself, because even though you're 10, 20 years out of a narcissistic relationship, you still have that shame, because you're not going to come out, even though you might joke about it and say, yeah, that bastard was narcissistic to me and really abusive. But the real deep-seated feeling that you have inside, that core shame, is there. So if you can somehow find a way to acknowledge it and address it, because it's not only anger. Of course, you're pissed off with this bastard who done all these things to you. Of course, you're angry and all those really high emotions. But in the quiet, in your mind, you have this shame. So if we can address the shame, or if the individual can address the shame, come to the understanding that they've just made a mistake, just like any other kind of mistake, and it's okay, life goes on. That may be the first step towards releasing the sensation that they're holding on, because it's not just anger and sadness they're holding on to. They need to release the shame.
That's a great point, the shame.
That is a great point. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go next if you don't mind, Asria.
Yeah, sure.
From an
Open forum.
energetic, from an energetic perspective, when somebody is healing and recovering their life after narcissism, like one of the first things from an energetic perspective is you got to remove the effect that the demon has had on them. Or if the demon is still reaching out, latching out, attaching cords, you've got to remove the cords. And whether they have that done by somebody, usually you have that done by somebody, but you've got to take your own power back and understand that that is what's happening. And you have to learn how to work with your energy body. And that is, number one is removing the cords. You'll learn after a while how to feel that a cord has been there, and then you remove it again, send it away, make your declaration of sovereignty, let it be known to the universe that you do not allow this, you will not have this in your life, and that your energy will be clear. And then you're protecting yourself. And what I find is people healing and taking back their power, they have to go through that process of learning how to work with it themselves, or they will always be bothered. They need to do it themselves. And then, there's exercises, and all of us have our own kind of unique, techniques to do that. But that's number one. You've got to understand you're an energy being. That's what the narcissist is doing, is feeding off your energy. I also think there's a global strategy, like to make this stuff seem silly. Oh, energy body, that's crazy. Let's treat everything as it's in the physical body. No, I'm telling you, there's a whole world out there. Just as much things as you see, like if you look around your room and you see all these things, that the unseen world looks like that too. There's all kinds of entities and beings. Most of them are not harmful. They're just curious. They're just interesting, kind of like Horton hears Horton hears a who, or whatever, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? There's little things that look like dandelion, puffs that are blowing around and stuff like that. They're just curious, or they're part of, the earth spirits and things like that. There's a whole really rich world. And once you start to take control and take power, you understand that you're part of this beautiful energy. What do I want to say? I was going to say energy soup, but this energy field, we think of it as air. It's not air. There's all kinds of beings in there. But once you understand where you begin, and where your energy barrier stops, then you can really learn to protect yourself and keep your space sacred and not bothered. Yeah.
I mean, we can't think with the old paradigm of 3D. We have to realize that everything is energy. Even if we can't see it, everything is energy.
Everything. And that's how they're getting to us, because we're like, oh, that's so funny, a demon. No, they're everywhere. Come on, don't even, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want to say this, they're especially everywhere since the shots came out, because what the shots did, if you don't mind me talking about this for just a minute.
Go for it. This is open forum. Go for it.
Not all the shots were like nasty business, but some of them were. And some of them were paired intentionally with demons in mind. So some of the people that have taken the shots have demons that are actually standing around them or by them because they're attached to the vials. There's also energetic they look like little nanobots, like almost technical little beings that are filtered around. You'll find those in crowds, and you'll find those little kind of, they're not the smartest demons, but you'll find the COVID beings there too. They're just big. They're almost adult size, and they just hang around and bump into you. You'll be able to feel them, or they stand in your rooms if you take them home. They're in crowds now, whether you've had the shots or not. And there's a couple other things. There's a couple other things too, but those are the main ones that are affecting us, because we didn't have them before these shots. We had other beings. So I feel like that was a strategy too, Lady D, as we're talking about, we're coming to the pivotal point. I think that those shots were part of that. Let's infiltrate everybody with a bunch of stuff. Let's make them sick. Some technology type of beings, because they're different. They're more tech than the other ones. And they think differently. They're like a hive mind kind of being. And then let's open all the other portals in the world, and let's just go crazy, because the big demons are gone, and they are gone. I'm not the only one saying it. Asria, Lady D, you've said it. Peyton, you've said the same thing. There's other people like Jessie Saboter, who was part of the system. She's saying the same thing. The big ones are gone. And now they're having to throw more at us. Like, it's like bringing in a football team. Let's just, okay, go get them. Whereas you'd only see like maybe a portal and one being would open. Now it's like, it's the whole B team. I call them like the whole B team. They're not particularly strong. They're a little aggressive, but many of them are not that smart. They're just, they're going into just to kind of, they're more like chaos. It's more like If you think of a game, like a gaming scenario, it's more like a chaos. Just go and spread chaos, that kind of thing. So, okay, I think I've said enough, but I really wanted to say that. Thank you.
I just want to, oh, no problem. I love this. I just want to say we are going to do, Kate is going to lead us in an energy clearing, and we're going to do an exercise at the end. But I agree with everything that you all said. And because we're at this crux of this spiritual and global war, and you've said it too, and we've Kate, and you basically said this before the show. It's like all those that are, working for the dark, they've opened up governments, all the nefarious Khazarian mafia members, and all of our governments, they're opening up portals. CERN, DARPA, all, they're opening up portals because they're working with the little low-level demons now, the losers that don't have the dark principalities. And we shine very brightly, and they're starving for loosh. And people like us, we're like a lobster dinner, a steak dinner, we're everything to them. And they're attached to us. It's like, if you're starving, do you want like a filet mignon and a lobster dinner, or do you want a little crumb? So it's like, they're going to come after us. So it's like they've opened up the gateways to hell, literally. And that's why we're seeing so much more of the aggression and the violence and everything. Like, the society is crumbling, right, Kate?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have we not covered that you three ladies think it's important for us to cover? Because I'm being mindful. We have about 45 minutes left, and I want to leave about 20 minutes? You're going to need 15, 20 minutes for the clearing, Kate?
Yeah, probably 15. It's quite quick. I'm going to say 10, probably 10 minutes to do it.
Okay.
But it would be helpful to talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to do a cord cutting guided visualization, but there are many ways to cut cords, and I would love for us, because I know everybody has their own techniques, just to talk a little bit about that, and then you would find what works best for you visually. But we can we can do that before now. Okay, because I know Peyton has a really interesting way of cutting cords, and I love it, and it works really well. So Peyton, I'm putting you on the spot, but I love.
No problem. Because of the souls and energies that I work with, I use a lot of fire, and just those cords don't stand a chance when they get blazed with fire or frequency of that energy. You know what I mean? So I do that. Sometimes if it's something attached to yourself, well, the other day I had a joke with Kate. I was scrambling. I didn't know what to do because I was also being attacked, because we are all susceptible to being attacked. And my defense team were stripped from me in that moment. So I was quite vulnerable. So what I did is I blazed myself. And that just was an instinct in the moment, because everyone I was calling for in the moment to come help my defense team, I just went, all right, blaze. And I blazed myself. And that worked pretty well. I've never done that before, but I was quite desperate in that moment. And it turned out pretty well. The cord was cut, the entity was gone and incinerated. And I woke up pretty fine, living to fight another day and have a laugh with Kate about it.
I love it. The sacred fire.
Yep.
From the dragon energy, Peyton.
That's correct. 100%. Yes.
Yep. Asria, what do you do to get rid of attachments, to clear the that energy, to clear yourself?
Well, as you ladies were saying, it is becoming more and more so, and we were having the discussion before we came on air in regards to even like when you get back from, I don't know, just popping down the road to to the grocery store and back. Sometimes you get back and you feel either a bit itchy or your energy suddenly dropped, and grounding. I mean, we can go back to the basics, and there is always there's always space for basics first. And then you can do, I mean, if you want to do like your salt showers, absolutely. Peyton mentioned there about bringing in your team. You can ask your guides, your spirits, your star beings, and just imagine that coming down and around you. Absolutely. You can use smudging, you can use sound. Personally, for me, it is always sound. Getting the drum out. My neighbors don't like it too much, but there we go. Yeah, getting the drum out and walking around with that. Yeah, if you're doing a cleanse, because as I said, now more than ever, and certainly when you go to sleep as well, doing those doing your protections, because there's no point in closing the barn door after the horse has bolted. So it's doing your spiritual hygiene first. Just because you've done your protection 2 days ago, that was 2 days ago. It's being mindful and it's being aware how that energy is changing, how that energy is shifting. Even the earth's energy changes from minute to minute, from second to second. So it's, yeah, making sure that they're topped up, making sure that, yeah, every so often you're doing your ones in your house, in your person, especially if you've got people coming in and out of your house as well. In regards to the cord cutting, if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to leave it up to the wonderful ladies here. I do have 1 or 2 small things that I normally do, but that's in regards to candles with certain herbs and things, which I won't go into right now. So as for today, I will leave it to the wonderful Peyton and Kate with regards to that. And because I've been looking forward to this myself. So
I just want to
I'm looking forward to it.
Go ahead, Peyton.
I just want to clarify something, because I know I said I blazed myself. I just want to clarify that this is in the astral. It is all within the mind. Please don't burn yourself with physical, real fire. All right. I just want to clarify that.
Smart
this
to
is
clarify. Yeah.
In the astral. And also it's another technique that you can use when you're trying to get rid of someone that's really affecting you. You know, you can envision a bin of fire and you're taking all that negativity that you feel about them and just casting it into the fire, and just with the knowing that this fire is going to remove all those energetic feelings and hurts and trauma, everything, just casting it into the fire repeatedly. You can scream in this process, because this process is it's in the astral, in your third eye, of course, but you tend to get very physical with it because you worked yourself up into this anger about this person, but you're envisioning this bin of fire that you're tossing all that upset that you have about this person into this blaze, knowing that it's just going to be gone when you're done, and just never revisit it again. And if you have the thought that comes up about the person again, you just thank it, because you've already dealt with it. You thank it and say, I've already dealt with you. Thank you. And then carry on with your day. And it may pop up a few times, and every time you say thank you, I've already dealt with you, and you just carry on, it's the less it will pop up, until you realize 6 months has passed and now you're trying to think about it, because it's like, how come I haven't thought about this in such a long time? So just try those. That's my little advice. I do engage in a certain frequency quite a lot, and burning them to smithereens is quite my technique.
I love it.
I love
I
that.
love it.
The sense I have then, Peyton, is like you're really pulsing that energy through your body, right? Or through your mind.
Yes.
And that's, yeah. And that works as well. Like so yours is this fire. You can do it for frequency too, whatever frequency you can request, whatever frequency gets this being to let go and to go away, or make it disintegrate, or burns it up, or whatever frequency that is, then you pulse it through. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for me, you know, I always have, and it's probably going to be pretty much similar to the cord cutting that we're doing later on at the end of this broadcast. But I do a visualization of cord cutting. I picture whoever is in front of me. I forgive them. I let them go. I tell them either in my mind through my third eye. And I do this with my clients. Everything is visual. And we have to get over like, oh, this is just my imagination. No, it's not. You're really doing things. You're thinking that you're just visualizing your imagination, but you're working in the astral. Visualization is basically imagination is your third eye. You're seeing through your third eye. So you have to trust it. If all four of us on screen questioned everything, and if we thought it was just our imagination and visualization, we wouldn't do what we do. All right, we wouldn't be connected. So visualization and visualizing is really you're doing the work in the astral. Cord cutting is huge. And it's just as simple as I picture people on the stage, and I do this with the energy release because you can't release anything in your cells, in your body, in your energy fields if you're not forgiving, if you're not cutting the cords. So just picture a silver cord, anyway, coming from your solar plexus to that other person. Tell them you forgive them. Tell them what you did is, it was wrong what you did, but I forgive you. You cut the cord. But also the biggest thing is that 9 times out of 10, with all of us on screen, it's 10 times out of 10 because none of us have invited any type of narcissism or demonic attachment to us or in our field. But basically, it's like for some reason our front door was open and they let themselves in. And just like if a stranger came into your house, you'd say, "Get the fuck out." You're telling them, you're asserting their authority. When you take back your power, you tell them to go. Once you assert their power, they can't stay. When you tell them whatever, I use Yeshua Jesus and Archangel Michael. In the name of Yeshua Jesus, I command you, be gone. I use Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I use Psalm 91 because I work a lot with Yeshua and there's a lot of power in the words. I tell them that they have no power here, that I don't give them any right, that they need to go. I use my 432 hertz, my pitchfork. I use sage, and most recently, Asria told me about rosemary. I do everything. I go around and I talk, but we don't realize the power of our words. We have more power, and we also have to understand we can't show them fear, even though sometimes it can be a little scary. We can't show them fear because if they think that they have any power over us, we're afraid of them, that gives them more power. Once we take back our power in our auric, in our soul, in our spiritual, and once we know that we are more powerful than them, God and the light is more powerful than the dark. Once you understand that and you know that, they can't, that they lose their power. How do you get rid of the dark? You turn on the light. So it's just we have to establish and assert our power and know that if there's something there that you did not agree to or you let in unknowingly, you have the power and authority to get them out. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add on that?
Yes, that's brilliant, Lady D. And sometimes when you're stuck, even though you're using the power and authority, one of the facets of using your power and authority is reaching out to a respected practitioner that will help you, because in that power and authority of doing so, you are also asserting your practitioner and giving them the permission to help you remove this entity or situation that you have. So your power and assertiveness comes in many facets. So don't be disappointed if all that you're doing is not seeming to work out, because sometimes we all need a little help, including practitioners. The doctor always needs a doctor. Yes. So don't be embarrassed. Don't think, "Oh my goodness, this is not working and I'm asserting myself." You can also assert yourself by reaching out to a reputable practitioner that will also help you and take you along the way, teach you a few things in a different way that you didn't realize before, that will also encourage you to be empowered and moving forward so you can feel more secure and calm.
I love that.
that.
Amen.
Amen to that.
100%.
Because I've been a psychic and intuitive for 30 some odd years, and I didn't know I was attacked. And if it wasn't for Peyton and Kate, I would still be attacked. And we have to put our egos aside and said, it doesn't matter if you're the most spiritual being. If you think that you're a walking ascended master, it doesn't matter. We're all vulnerable, and we get attacked more. And as much as horrible it is, we have to understand that we're being attacked because we have something that they want. And you almost have to use it as a badge of honor, because they wouldn't be attacking me if I didn't have the light. But it's just part of the course now. But that is really big. You have to ask for help. And you can't say, oh, I know it all, because we don't. We don't know it all. And we're constantly evolving and learning. And one of the things that we all talked about, all the individual women here in this on screen here, is how we were all going through our own individual awakenings and journeys. And now we've kind of met each other. And I think it's very important to say that you don't have to go through it alone. If you do need help, there are people like Peyton and Kate that are experts that can help clear the entities. They can see the entities. And Kate and Peyton are going to be training Asria and myself, and we're going to be able to do it. So it's like we're all coming together, and we're all bringing all of our strengths and all we have to add. We're all bringing everything to the table, and we're learning and we're growing, and not one of us knows it all. So I just want everyone in the chat, or anyone that's watching in the replay, you're not alone. And feel free to reach out to Peyton and Kate and Asria. All their information's down there. I can tell you, I'm not just saying this because I love these women. Kate and Peyton, what they have done for me recently with the attacks, having this channel is beautiful, and I wouldn't change a thing, but it's made me very susceptible. And all of us that are on the front lines and are in the public eye and have channels, because people think it's glamorous, but it's not always glamorous. We're more susceptible to attacks. So you're not alone at all. Never. So please, and even if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to us, just don't sit there and suffer at all.
Yep.
We have about, have about a half hour. So is there anything that you ladies feel that we haven't covered tonight that you think it's really important that we need to? Go for it, Asria.
Thank you.
Asria.
Teach it.
No, I just really wanted. That was beautiful, Dee. Absolutely, and the fact that we're not doing this alone is incredible. And the one thing I just really wanted to follow on from there as well is we don't all know it, and the fact that we can all, and I can see everyone nodding in. Because now we're talking about the narcissist, you do also get the spiritual narcissist. You do get those individuals who will come across and be like, I know it all. And you're not as spiritual as me. Or I've just spent the past 6 months in the Himalayas and having my 6 months of not talking and not eating, and that means I'm better than you, and and Christ knows whatever else. Excuse me. Maybe not. And I really do feel that sometimes, and out of all the wonderful, wonderful information that we've all shared through this, is that if you come across in regards to that, and think, well, no, I don't need to learn anything else, or I don't need to be told anything else, or these teachings are wrong, or those. I mean, the list is endless. But again, it all comes through control when we are talking about that narcissist, and it's kind of like you don't understand, or you're not healed. And they kind of keep pulling you in to say, oh, this is now wrong with you, or that's now wrong with you, or no, you really should divorce your husband, or you really should do this. A practitioner and a guide and a healer and will never tell you should do something, because then that takes away your free will, and that's putting their control onto you. I could talk about this for quite some time.
Yeah.
But I was just I really felt that strongly coming through as you were just saying that, Dee, in regards to, yeah, we can all put our hands up on this screen and say, yeah, we've been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but we're all still learning. As Kate was saying earlier, there's these new beings coming through after the big C word and the pokey jab things.
Mm-hmm.
So even in the 21st century, there's still others coming through.
Yep.
There's ways in which we're going to be taught by Kate and Peyton that we didn't know.
Exactly.
Meeting all these wonderful people over the past year, 2 years, 10 years, you start getting to know from one another as well. So I really, really do feel that that's also another really important element, because again, it will feed into the ego, as Peyton was saying, as Kate was saying, as Dee was saying, because they've jumped on that bandwagon when people can be at a potentially a vulnerable time where you are searching, where you are questioning, where you are wanting to find yourself. You've never lost yourself. It's just inside. It's just a bit deeper than you thought it was. So you just need to go in that little bit more. That's all. But sometimes you just need somebody like one of us or any of the other wonderful, amazing healers and practitioners out there to just give you a little bit of a guide. Because that's all we do. We set the frequency. We hold the space. You're the one that does the work at the end of the day when we're talking about healing. And as Peyton was saying, we are there to help and support. That's why the therapist needs the therapist. Because we can do a lot of it ourselves, but we might just need that person to just get us over that finish line a little bit.
Good point. Yeah.
That's why we're all here. That's why we're all starting to come together.
Yeah. And it's so helpful, Lady D, for you to bring us all together, because we can each give our own perspectives. I love that. And like Peyton and I talk almost every week, and like, or I'll call her and I'll say, Peyton, what do you see with this? I just want a second opinion. Or what do you see? Because her view is different than mine. And she'll be like, oh, I see all this other stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I wasn't focused on that. That's amazing. And it will help. So it's super helpful to have other people that you're working with from other perspectives. To Asria's point, if you want to feel empowered when you're working with any type of healer. You just do. You don't want to walk away doubting yourself and feeling worse. If you are, then, I mean, if you're feeling worse about yourself, then it may not be the right healer for you. But I'm going to guarantee that all of us have had multiple healers through our lives. Like, my specialty is unwrapping that stuff so you can feel yourself again, connect to yourself, and then you can do the work of getting to the other layers, the internal work. Mine's more of this external kind of work of removing these forces, but you'll need more than one healing session, because I'll guarantee most people on this show or listening to this show are the people that have said, it ends with me. I'm here to take this life seriously, and I'm going to figure this out. It takes a very long time. You're never done healing. You're never done doing your work, and you're never done learning. All the time we're learning or taking classes. So thank you. I just wanted to say that. And thank you, Lady D, for bringing us together.
Oh, absolutely. This is my honor and pleasure. I just wanted to take this time to thank Jill from the UK. She she bought the super chat. Said, thank you, Kate, for your honest and true reply to a past message. Not able to make a live show, but will be around in my spirit. Thank you, Jill from the UK. She's one of my longtime subscribers, and love you from across the pond. There are a few questions, and I think the last thing that we didn't touch upon, and it's very important, is that for, obviously we have the ability, some people we can get rid, we can get divorces, we can go no contact, we can kick people out. But what about the situations in which we have to go to a job, or we have to be around family members that are narcissists? What kind of tools can we do to protect ourselves, protect our energy, our mind, body, and soul. So I'm going to go around and start with you, Peyton,
Okay.
if you don't mind, and then I'll do Asria and Kate.
Good.
I saw a really interesting question in the chat, and I'm hoping that you asked that one as well.
Is
And
this the one about right here, the light workers to protect the energy? This one?
no, the one that says, besides prayer and maybe wearing crystals, what else can we
Okay.
do to prevent
Oh,
attack?
yeah, right here.
Yes.
Roberta. Hi, Roberta.
Hello, Roberta. I saw that she posted it twice, so I thought, let me draw your attention to it. Now, Roberta, other than prayer and, crystals, you have to activate your crystals, give it its intention, introduce yourself to your crystal first of all. My name is so-and-so, and tell the crystal what you would like from it, and also keep it cleansed and charged. But other than that, we are always going to experience an attack. We're not invincible from being attacked. So the next step I would advise for you is understanding what you do while being attacked and how to recover from it. So knowing who your guardians are, I don't like to use the word guide because it's been thrown around so much. It could be any Tom, Dick, and Harry and any pretender pretending to be your guide. But as you learn who your guardian is or your guardians are, including your higher self, in these forms of attack or times of attack, those are the ones you call upon. They give you the information, the knowledge. They put up a frequency around you as well. And if you think that that's not sufficient, of course, you can always reach out for professional help. But please know that you can always help yourself. But you first have to be in contact with your guardians and have a very good relationship with them, so you know what they feel like their texture, that it's not a pretender, a fake thing, something that's just coming to feign protection or feign assistance. And once you have that connection, you'll find that you wouldn't worry so much about protection as well so much. You will know that if you do get attacked, you have the opportunity to bounce back. It's just like when you fall, you don't stay down, you get back up and you keep going, and you learn something every single time. So I just wanted to address that. So I don't know if Kate and Asria wanted to address that as well before we tackle your question, Lady D.
No problem.
Sorry, dogs.
They have a lot they like to add.
Yep. Okay, I'll say this, like when I'm going out in public, or I'll say this more personally. I have a family member who's a narcissist and is always trying to put cords in me. What I do is I do a couple of things. One is before I go out, I connect myself and ground myself, like Asria said, to the earth, to the divine, and then to my heart, and I activate my superpowers, which is shield of protection, shield of frequency, my protection. I call in my guardians, okay, always. And then sometimes I'll even suit up. For me, it looks like an astronaut suit. So I pretend, I'm putting on the feet and the legs and whatever on the helmet. And that feels to me like very protected. Then when I get to the family reunion, let's say of sorts, I will say to the room and to any being in that room, and especially specifically to the being of that one specific family member, do not touch me. If you touch me, you are gone. It will be painful and you will no longer exist. And I am serious about that. And I guarantee they stay away because they know I'm serious. They can feel it. If I have to say more or I know a practitioner that will remove you, do not touch me and I'm serious. They may try it, but then call your practitioner or actually take action and remove it. And they won't do it again. I'm just saying, and then it's like they'll start to know that you're very serious about it. Demons want more than anything to be attached to the person they're attached to. That's their life, that's their supply. So I'm just saying that as something to try. It works for me.
I remember you
I think
saying,
that's
Kate,
fantastic.
I think I said that last time. It's very effective. And if they don't, some of them are ignorant. They'll be like, aha, she doesn't mean it. Oh yeah, I do. Because watch, I'm going to go in the bathroom and I'm going to clear you while nobody's watching me. And then let's see how you like me now. It's kind of like that. Oh, they're real bastards sometimes, but you have to, you know, all
That's
this love and light and stuff, I think has been thrust. We're all loving, let's hold the space, you know, the new age thing. Okay, it had its benefits, but one thing was, let's be really passive. No, we got to be assertive. And if aggression is called for, we need to be aggressive. I'm just saying, because otherwise it's our life or theirs. I'm saying the demons, and they're not going to take my life. I'll just say that.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've had clients say, and people that I've spoken to, and I remember, I think I was telling Dee the story the other day. I was having a coffee with a lady once, and she said, "Oh no, the dark doesn't touch me. I don't acknowledge it, so therefore it's not there."
Mhm.
And I laughed because I thought she was joking. I was like, "You serious?" Like, oh, when you were saying about all the love and light, and yes, absolutely. But there's balance. Yeah. And as you said, if you are a being of light, they will go. It's a moth to a flame. Mm-hmm. So just by saying, I don't acknowledge it, doesn't always work. And yeah, you can be that kind of, what do you call it, a flip-flop warrior and stuff like that, but be mindful of what's around. And just as a small added protection on there, because I'm just curious about the time, is some of us, being human, we do like tangible. We do like some tangible things. So yes, and I love that, like that Peyton was saying, absolutely, with your crystals. But if we go back to the earth as well, and Dee mentioned there about rosemary, and I don't know what your thoughts here, guys, or Kate and Peyton, but one of the things that I started many, many years ago, because again, tangible to me was when, I'm not even going to say what age, felt real. And yes, you can do your visualizations. And if you can't visualize, just feel it. Feel that light. Feel that. I love that spacesuit. Feel that spacesuit. Don't fixate on visual. Because some people really, really can't and find it difficult to visualize. So feel it. Same thing. But sorry, last little thing. If you get a pouch, really small pouch, ideally like a red material. I'll have one here, but we might be taken off for indecent exposure, because I normally just carry it in my bra here. So and normally one at the top and one at the bottom, so on the heart and on the solar plexus, and it's either a particular crystal like black tourmaline, but then you also have rosemary. You can also put in there any sigils, and maybe we'll cover that off right another time. Or there's one or two other herbs which they're not coming to mind right now. But certainly putting one or two of those in, and you can either put like a paper, not a paper clip, like a nappy pin to pin them to you. Or just put them in your pockets. You can have one, you can have two, because sometimes having something that's a little bit more tangible sometimes makes us feel, like when we're babies and we have our like our blankies or our teddies that makes us feel safe. Even my 90-odd-year-old grandmother used to have something that she used to hold to make her feel safe, and that's perfectly fine too. But again, as Peyton says, talk it, set your intentions, talk into it, cleanse it. Don't just think, oh, I've taken it off one day and then I'm going to put it back in the next day and I'm going to be perfectly fine. Don't work that way. Set your spiritual hygiene behind it. Cleanse, clear, and so on.
That's great. And Asria, those have energetic properties. The rosemary, the tourmaline, whatever you're using, even the bear that you've loved, the teddy bear that you've loved, it has that love frequency. If it's near you, that changes your energy field too, and your whole field will resonate to that. It's just, that's energy medicine is what it is. It's beautiful.
I love that. And I love the spiritual hygiene. It's true. It's like if you didn't shower, didn't brush your teeth, how would you would be stinky, you'd have all kinds of bacteria and germs, and you have to do that spiritually as well. And yes, people forget that they have to cleanse their crystals and be personalized and get to know their crystals, as Peyton said. You can put them out in sunlight. Um, this selenite is a clearing crystal. All right, it clears. It's you put selenite on anything, and it can clear the crystal. Put them out during a full moon. Salt, because we have to understand, just because it's not a one and done, you have to continually. So it's not like you can brush your teeth once and not get cavities, right? So it's constant, constant, and I love that, the spiritual hygiene. I just love it. Is there anything else before we start with the energy clearing and the cord cutting? Is there anything else that we did not touch upon that any of you lovely ladies would like to speak about before we get towards the end of the show here and wrap up?
Nothing else for me, but I can see several other shows of different to be able to go into more of this, but nothing related to this.
Nothing for me as well, but I'd like to add to what Asria said. When you can't see what you're trying to accomplish, she said to feel, but sometimes people can't feel either, and they're like, oh my God, I can't feel a thing, I can't see a thing, I can't hear a thing. So just invoke the intention. So just that intention, I'm intending, and just bring it forward like that. Eventually you may begin to see and feel, but if you never do, that intention is also very, very powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to all of you for women. I love and appreciate you all. It is an honor and a privilege to call you my friends and, to be part of your soul sisterhood. I love that we're in different countries and we're across the pond, but yet we are together in spirit and soul. And I'm going to take it away, and I'm going to put Kate, I'm going to put you on the big screen if I can, so you can, and then you're going to guide us in a cord cutting exercise. I'm going to let you take it away, Kate, from here on, and then we'll end the show.
Okay. This would probably take about 10 minutes. And there's nuances to this. Like I may say, visualize a brilliant white gold energy. And I will say that for you, it may be a different color. That's absolutely fine. Go with what your heart feels to be true, what's true for you. But the idea of this is, you'll get the idea of this. And I'm sure that many of you have done something like this before. And if you haven't, then, welcome to the world of cord cutting. So let's start by this. I'll just have you take a comfortable seat wherever you're at. Close your eyes and take a nice, deep, comfortable, relaxed breath. And just keep holding your breathing like that. Feel your feet connecting to the earth, or if you prefer to feel the base of your spine connecting to the earth beneath you. Just feel that. Imagine strong roots extending downward, anchoring deep into the rich, nurturing soil. Feel the steadiness and the security of the earth's energy supporting you. Calm, solid, loving, protective. With every exhale, release tension and excess energy into the ground, into the beautiful Mother Earth. She'll transmute all that energy. She loves it. With every inhale, draw up strength, stability, and renewal. So with every inhale, draw up strength, stability, and renewal. With every exhale, release tension and excess energy into the beautiful Mother Earth. Well, she'll transmit it until it's pure gold, can be used for some other beautiful, beautiful, beautiful purpose. Now lift your awareness upward above your head, beyond the crown, into the radiant divine light. Visualize a brilliant white gold energy flowing down from the divine source, God, or the universal light, whatever you would like to call the divine. And it could be any color, but just feel that beautiful energy coming into you, pouring into you. Let the sacred energy pour gently through your crown, down your spine, around your body or through your body. Let it merge with your grounding roots, uniting heaven and earth within you. You are the bridge between two realms. You're perfectly balanced. You're perfectly safe and protected. And feel that connection in your heart, the connection between the beautiful earth and the beautiful divine. And let your heart energy power you, empower you, power you, protect you, balance you. Bring your attention to your lower chakras. That'll be the root chakra, which is in the pelvic area, the sacral chakra, which is abdominal area, and the solar plexus, which is your stomach area. And pay attention to them and how they feel. If someone connects a cord to you or you have a cord connected to you, it could be in the front of those areas, or it could actually take place in the back where we don't often look. So it's a little sneakier, but you could feel them in your back connected to you. Visually or feeling, so what would that be? Visually or sensing, get a sense of any old attachments, cords, or energetic ties that may be in these areas, that are connected to any of these areas, front or back. They could be cords to people, to situations, to fears, or to outdated patterns. It could be ancestral. Just get a sense of where they're at. Now connect to your higher self and ask for assistance, or could be spiritual guides. The part of you, connect to the part of you that knows yourself, or a guardian who is here to help you. And we're going to cut those cords. There are so many ways to do that. First, get a sense of where the cord is placed, which area of your chakra, which chakra, front or back. And we're literally going to cut those. First, what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge that it's there. We're going to say thank you to the divine that I can see this before me. I no longer choose to have this attachment. I no longer choose to allow others to attach to me, or old situations to attach to me. I'm releasing it. Okay, there are so many ways to do this. I'm going to say this. You could use selenite. This is something I learned from Peyton. You can use selenite. You can literally hold it in your hand, and you could wave it in the area or use it like a knife and cut the cord. Make sure that you shake the energy off. You can also do that visually. You could see yourself as having a pair of scissors if the cord is small. It could be gardening shears if the cord is larger. It could be a chainsaw if you wanted to and you were so inclined to use that. Whatever you need to use. It could be something that has ice on it, or a frequency sword. It could be an ice sword, something that will cut it. So in your mind's eye, go ahead and cut that. If you have some selenite or some other stone or crystal that you believe is helpful, or that is helpful for you, then go ahead and use that. You can also visualize a blade or a beam of pure light. You could use your hand to do that. You could say that the blade and the beam of pure light is the divine sword of truth, and allow that in your mind's eye or with the use of your hands to cut and dissolve that cord with love and compassion for yourself, and with saying enough's enough. I no longer accept this. And go ahead and cut the cords or remove those cords, and just do one at a time. As the cords are removed, use the power of your mind or use your guardian to help heal and close that point at which it was attached. And then restore your energy body in the chakra where it was attached. If you feel it's necessary, send a message to the person, the situation, or the entity that connected the cord to you that you are a sovereign being and you no longer allow cords to be attached. And say this and mean it. So take a look at all 3 of the chakras in the front. You will cut any of those that you see and remove them, and do the same with the back. Let's just take another minute and we'll do that. If you see cords anywhere else or sense cords anywhere else on your in your body or on in your energetic field, go ahead and remove those too. And then remember to heal that area where the cord was attached and restore your energy. Okay, amazing. You guys are doing an amazing job. Let's take about 15 more seconds just to take a look and see if there are any other cords that need to be removed. Okay, great. Now let's shift our focus to our heart chakra. And if you didn't have time to remove all of them, then please re-listen to this recording, and then you'll be able to finish next time. So shift your focus to your heart chakra, the center of love and unity. Feel it expanding, glowing brighter with every breath. This is your center of power, pure, compassionate, and free. Let your heart energy radiate throughout your body, filling every cell with light. This is you connected to the earth and to the divine. And from this place, I'm feeling your heart. Then affirm this: I am grounded in the earth, connected to the divine, and centered in love. All of my energy returns to me purified and whole. I am free, sovereign, empowered, protected, and radiant. So be it. And take a deep breath and feel the fullness of your being, grounded, aligned, and shining from the heart. And then it is with gratitude that we thank the wonderful divine, and we thank the beautiful earth for our lives and for being souls of light. We are so grateful. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath, feel the fullness of your being. When you're ready, open your eyes and then carry this balanced power into the rest of your day. Knowing that you can come back and do this, and you may do this every day as part of your spiritual hygiene. I know I do, or some version of this. And then open your eyes whenever you're ready.
I think all of us are back. That was absolutely amazing. I feel so much lighter. I felt a lot in my sacral chakra.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel so much lighter. That is amazing. Amazing. Thank you so, so much for guiding us and walking us through that, Kate. That is amazing. It's
Welcome.
just, and anyone can go and replay this video and they can
Mhm.
listen to it or watch it at any time and do this on a daily basis whenever they need it, right, Kate? Like you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Well, it is 11. It's a little past 11 over there across the pond in the UK. So we don't want to keep Asria and Peyton any longer. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all those in the chat are watching. And I will thank those that are watching in the replay. Thank you to Kate, Asria, and Peyton for joining me, for all that you do for me. I look forward to our next show. And Asria and I are very excited to be being mentored by Kate and Peyton. We're going to be learning what they do this week. And so I just want to say I'm sending so much love and gratitude. Thank you so much. I'm very excited. And to anyone that's watching, if you want to get in touch, if you want to take advantage of the wonderful services and the talents and the divine gifts of Asria, Kate, or Peyton, all their information, their contact information is in the description of the show underneath. Please reach out to them. Like I say, they have each individual woman on the screen has helped me tremendously this year in so many ways. And until next month, when we do this again, we're sending you so much love, so much strength, and know that you're more powerful than you'll ever know. And you're not alone. And until then, we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.